What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 89. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by Bryant
On the hunt for a platinum.
and Phaneckswhy.
What's up? What's up?
I
Good
assume
to
you're
be
talking
back.
about platinum for Stellar Blade?
Indeed. Yep. I played it all day today. The stupid fishing mini game. I literally did that for like 6 hours to catch all the fish, and now it's on to
Jeez.
hunting all the other. Yeah, it's like all the. I don't know why all these games have to have a fishing. Like Star Ocean, the second story are fishing.
Yeah.
Near Automata, fishing. Stellar Blade, fishing.
Yeah.
But I'm missing a bunch. Like all these RPGs, like they all have like fishing in them, and it's like I don't.
Who's the
What'd you say?
developer?
It's a company called Shift Up. Shift Up. It's called.
Yeah, Korean developer. I think the only
Korean
other game
developer.
they've
Yeah.
done is Nikki Goddess Victory. It's a gacha game on mobile. It's
I
like a
wonder
thir-
if like
Well, it's a great game.
Yeah, it's like a
I
third
wonder if
person,
like
like, cover
fishing's
shooter.
a big is fishing like a big thing in like Asian cultures? Like growing up,
Maybe.
like my uncles and stuff like they would always go fishing or go catfishing. You know, like it was just a thing. And I wonder if it's just a big thing in like Korean and Japanese and Chinese culture that
It's
in Asian
possible.
culture they just like to go fishing.
It's possible
And,
because in Japan and in like Korea, they're surrounded by water, like on
Yeah.
all sides. So it's like,
Isn't the Asian diet mostly fish? Like, don't they eat a lot of fish?
Yep.
Don't they? In general.
Yep. Fish sauce. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe that's why. I mean, it's not a. I was gonna say it's not an RPG if it doesn't have fishing, but I mean, Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
I guess it's more on the action side than RPG, so a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, there's growth and there's
Yeah.
experience points and stuff. So, like, in a way, it's kind of like an action-based RPG, but it's
Yeah.
not like a Final
I
Fantasy
mean,
or anything like
Near
that.
Near Automata had fishing in it too, where you would
Yeah,
throw the
that's what.
little
Yeah,
like
Near
robot.
Automata,
Yeah.
Star Ocean, this. There's a bunch. Well, I had like two others that I
Final
was
Fantasy
thinking about earlier. Like,
15
why do
had
all
a
these games?
DLC that's just
Yeah,
about
15,
fishing.
Final Fantasy 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 Noctis's stuff had fishing in it too.
Yeah. There's like so much fishing in games like that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of
Ocarina of
fishing.
Time, fish.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time did have fishing. That's right. You had to do the fishing part to get the big Goron sword for that
Yep.
whole side quest. For a weapon, it wasn't as good as the Master Sword, in my opinion. It was stronger, but it was just, I prefer my sword issue. But anyways, we got quite a few things to talk about today. But as always, before I begin, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, sitting at 906 subscribers right now. So very close, very close. Need actually, I don't know why I put 906. We're at 908 subscribers. I just don't know how to do math currently. Currently at 908 subscribers, so very close to hitting our goal. 92 subscribers to go to hit 1,000. And we're not gonna do what we've been playing right now. We'll do that at the end of the show. We're gonna go ahead and start diving into our smaller news. Starting off with Sony listening to our podcast last week, where we mentioned that Sony had no CEO at the moment. And funny enough, what was it, like a day later? They announced a CEO. They heard our podcast and they heard what we're talking about. CEOs, yes, correct. There are two CEOs. First one being Herman Hulst. He was basically, I think, in part of like third-party relations for like PlayStation Studios and stuff like that, getting like the like the deals and all that stuff. He is now the head of studio business group, which includes all PlayStation first-party teams, plus covers the development of PlayStation IP onto other mediums such as TV and film. Hideki I believe it's Nishino, will lead the platform business group, which includes console hardware, technology, accessories, PlayStation Network, and third-party relations, covering major publishers and indie studios. So yes, they have two CEOs now, which will kind of, be split in half. What this tells me, though, which is very interesting, that Sony is not Japanese no more. And here's why. Herman Hulst is in charge of all the first-party stuff. And A, we already know that Sony, they shut down Japan studios and everything like that. B, him being in charge just proves to me more and more that they're more a Western developer country in terms of like their first party IPs that they have to offer. They're not going to dive into that anymore, where they'll probably use third party relations to kind of get third-party exclusives if they can. With Hideki Nishino covering that side of things, and that's kind of sad. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm just, hopefully I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm wrong. But this is what this tells me. What do you guys think?
Well, the thing is like when you think about like what's successful in Japan, it's the mobile stuff. It's the Switch, it's mobile
Yeah,
gaming and stuff like that because it's a very transportation based kind of place, like where they want to be able to play games on the go, and
Yeah.
the room space isn't just high and things
Very
like that. So
commutey.
they want to have something. What'd you say, fan?
Very commutey. Like
Yeah, very community. Yeah, totally. And so they want to have the versatility of something that's portable. And so that's like why Nintendo kind of rules over there and mobile and everything. And so it is kind of becoming more of a Western, like Sony is becoming more of a Western company when it comes to the gaming market because like that's kind of where all the big stuff is happening as far as like the big releases and not releases, but like the big sales and everything. It's very much over here. And
yeah,
um, I think it's a good strategic maneuver to have two, so you kind of have a foot in both places. And um, I think, I mean, given this year that they've had already with the games that have come out, I really think they're on a good path. I mean, the only thing that they've had really that's stumbly this year is just all the stuff about Helldivers and the PSN and all that kind of stuff. But as far
yeah.
as like game releases, Stellar Blade, Rebirth, Helldivers,
Hmm.
there's more. I just can't think of them right now. But it's been a good year, so I think they're on the right path.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, yeah, Rebirth is third party, but exclusive still, and Stellarblade is
Exclusive
third
though,
party and exclusive. Yeah, I mean, it's like in the
right?
first party side of things. Like that's the thing that kind of bums me out because that means we don't really have to look forward to Gravity Rush, type games, right? Or Shadows of Colossus or anything like that. We're probably just gonna get a Horizon Zero Dawn remake, right? Which is probably coming because that Lego leak seems to be true.
Lego, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we're probably gonna get something along those lines. What about you, fan?
you said the new CEO is like more into like used to be part of what third party relations you said,
Yep,
like handling the third party relations.
yep,
It kind of reminds me of just like when PlayStation first started, when they're like, how can we, get the foot pedal to the metal, start making games with the PlayStation, like, all right, we're gonna have to depend on third party,
yeah,
right? We don't have any first party right now, and it feels like maybe they're trying to go back to the roots, trying to like entice more third party, and just the first party's like on the back burner, and they're
yeah,
like, let's invest more into the third party because
yeah.
it seems like that's what's making the most money.
Well, no, so there's two new CEOs. The new CEO who's in charge of the first party side is now is not in charge of the third of I'm sorry. The CEO who's in charge of the first party side was in charge of the third party before. And now there's a different CEO who's in charge of third party
Okay,
relations.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. I thought I heard it like
The
different.
reverse? No, yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
reverse of that. Which, yeah, so it seems like they're still going to do third party relations, but like
They're
Herman
just picking a different
Hulse,
guy to
yeah,
do it.
correct.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Herman
Maybe they're
Hulse is going to be in
okay.
charge of first party. So I don't know. We'll see
Interesting.
where that goes from there. I personally, I don't know. I don't care for Sony anymore like I used to. I hate to say it, but like they don't have my attention like they used to. Maybe when Ghost of Tsushima 2 or something like that comes out, maybe I'll care again. But who knows? You're on mute. You are still on mute.
You're still on mute.
Oh
I see the
no!
mute button. Uh oh.
It keeps going on and off. Is your mic on mute? Maybe? Did you press on the mic? No. Oh. Yeah, I still can't hear you showing the mute side. Yeah. No worries, no worries.
Yeah.
Uh, while we wait for him, we'll go ahead and skip over to our second bit of news here. Valve has announced, or not announced, but there's been a leak of a new game made by Valve, which, I mean, the last game Valve did was outside of like, porting Portal 2 to like Nintendo Switch
It was
is
Adam.
what
Was
was
it
it?
Ad? What was it called? Adam? No. Wait.
Was it you talking about like a
Alex. Alex. Talking about Alex.
oh yeah,
That was for
Half-Life
the
Alex, you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I
Half-Life
wasn't
Alex.
even thinking of Half-Life Alex. I was actually thinking
Yeah.
of another game. But yeah, Half-Life Alex actually would have been the last game that they did.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. Their screenshots are already leaked. Looks like a hero shooter type game, which,
Ugh.
you know, depending on how you feel about it, you might not care
Okay, can you
about
hear
a
me
hero
now?
shooter. Yes, we
Yeah, I
can
can hear
hear
you
you
now.
now.
Okay, that was so weird. I was
It,
pressing
yeah.
the button to unmute myself, and it wasn't pressing. Like it wasn't working. Like none of my buttons were
Weird.
working. Like that was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. So I just restarted Discord, and now I'm fine. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no
No,
worries.
you're good, man.
Yeah, what were we gonna say?
I was
What
just
were
gonna
we
say
talking
like,
about?
Oh,
Go ahead.
well,
well, you
when
said a hero shooter, right?
yeah,
So I'm like, I groaned a little bit. I'm like, okay, but then I thought like, well, maybe we're gonna get another type of Team Fortress, because Team Fortress is pretty much kind of like a hero shooter.
that is true. That is true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, according to the screenshots, and actually, let me go ahead and bring that up.
Or are we talking about the new Valve thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get that up here real quick.
Yeah, my camera's like all out of whack right now because I took my camera to take pictures on Saturday,
Yeah.
and all my settings are all like in
Yeah, you look a little
photography
grainy.
mode. So when I like hook it back up, I forgot to reset all the settings, and now it's all like buggy. So I gotta fix it later.
Just a quick thing, James.
Yeah.
Before when I was muted, what I wanted to say was like maybe with this upcoming PlayStation Direct,
Yeah.
they're gonna have rumored this month. Maybe they'll show something that'll get you excited again. We'll see.
Maybe. We'll see. So hopefully the stream doesn't crash. I'm gonna share my screen to you guys
Oh,
and do it on stream as well. And I think that's what was causing the crash earlier. Because the minute I did that, I started doing that, and I think there's just too many shared screens that I'm doing because I'm streaming to both YouTube and Twitch, plus streaming to you guys, and I think my GPU just went crazy. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't crash this, but here we go. We're gonna share this, and you guys should be.
yep, I can see it.
And then on the stream side, oof. Yeah, we froze. No. All right, let me stop. Let me stop streaming to you guys. Yeah, we froze on the stream now. Dang. Yeah. There we go. It looks like. Are we back? Are we back? Yeah, we're back. Oh man.
You
Yeah.
hear me?
So I can't stream. Yeah, I can hear you. So I can't stream to you guys for whatever reason. So we're not gonna do that.
But we can see it on the stream.
Okay.
Like, so we can just pull up the stream and
Dan's
see it.
frozen for me.
Yeah, me too. There we go. So, okay, I know my limitations to my GPU. Gotta get a new GPU. That's definitely
What kind of GPU you're rocking right now?
a 3060 Ti. I mean, I
I'm
could do
surprised that
better.
can't handle that. That's not really old or anything.
It's probably because NVIDIA broadcasting. I'm assuming because of that, I'm using NVIDIA what's it called, voice suppression, right, for the background noise to get that out, and then plus streaming to two different outlets. So I assume it's all of that, but whatever. Anyways, here's some screenshots of that, and it's, you know, it looks pretty interesting. Pretty interesting UI. These are apparently from like a testing tool, and this was from Twitter by somebody named Gabe Follower. They basically have like all these little things, like, you know, you have a character here called Gray Talon. It says delivers long range skill shots. Kind of shows you like the little skills that they have. Next one here is like, I don't know, looks like some type of range person, but you can kind of see the UI at the top and everything. There goes the map at the bottom right. So yeah, looks very interesting. And
very Overwatch-ish.
yes, very Overwatch. I 100% agree with that. So I'm actually interested to see how this turns out. I mean, the last hero shooter I played would have been Overwatch, and since then, I mean, you could kind of count Valorant as one, I guess, but it's not the same as Overwatch. But I guess Valorant's very similar. So if you count that one, then that would have been the last one that I played. Yeah, Fan, you're still frozen on my side for some reason.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. Do you see
That's
yourself
weird.
frozen too?
Yep.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's funny. He mentioned camera issues and then he froze. Your camera did not like that. Very, very troublesome podcast today. It's like, it's just like, you know, starting the podcast, we had an issue, and then, you know, in here it froze and all that other stuff. So
There we go.
there you go. There you go. You're back. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some of our more interesting. Oh, actually, before we get into that, what do you guys think about Deadlock? Are you guys interested to see what that comes out to be, or do you not care about hero shooters?
I'm interested to see what kind of spin Valve puts on it. I don't think that it's too Overwatch. I mean, just because it's hero based, I don't necessarily think that makes it
Mhm.
Overwatch. Like,
No, it just
there's
looked
a
like
lot
it,
of
like the aesthetics.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just think that Valve just kind of has a way to make things, even if it's something like a capture the flag shooter, put its own unique spin on it and make it just crazy successful and really um, quality. And so I think whatever this is, hopefully they announce something about it soon, because it's like you hate that you spent all this time, like who knows how many years this game has been in development, just for it to get announced and leaked by this, like
Yeah.
a random post. Like I'd imagine that has to be incredibly disheartening for the developers of it to have it be revealed like this. Like I just hope they come out with something official. And I just got
Yeah.
a text from somebody watching the stream that they think it looks a lot more like Team Fortress 2, which
Team Fortress 2.
I can
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The spiritual successor to Team Fortress, maybe. Just something a little bit different. All right, let's move on to one of our bigger topics, and it's retro handhelds, retro game emulator handhelds to be, uh, you know, to be exact, right? There's a
Did you
lot
see
of
my
them.
tweet?
Yes, I did. There is a lot of them that were announced this week, and actually all three of them were announced on the same day, which was actually pretty funny. I don't know what is up with this week, and a lot of things being announced on the same day, but uh, we'll go ahead actually and dive into that. We'll share my screen with that. We're gonna start off with the Ein Odin Mini 2, which is basically a PlayStation Vita, like in every way, shape, or form. It looks like a Vita, and that's not a bad thing per se, but pretty cool. There are two different colors, so I am sharing the screen on there if you guys want to like look at it on Twitch and YouTube, because I can't share the screen through Discord. But it looks a lot like a Vita from having like the clear buttons. So you have like A, B, X, Y on the face buttons that are clear. You know, the start and select and whatever other extra buttons are down here are also clear. The D-pad being clear. The thumbsticks are not like the Vita. They look to be a little bit better, which is nice.
The Vita
Um,
thumbsticks are like borderline Switch thumbsticks. Like they don't
yeah,
have a lot of range to them or whatever.
yeah, a little bit smaller than the Switch thumbsticks.
Yeah, I mean
And a
that's
lot
the
more slippery.
technology they had at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
correct. Um, so the Mini will have a 1080p 5-inch mini LED touchscreen display,
That's
running Android
interesting.
13, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, Hall effect sticks, and it's gonna be 320 grams. And it looks cool. It looks like a Vita. It's definitely heavily inspired by the Vita. You can tell, if not an exact copy. If you look at the top of it, let me see if there's a shot up the top. Yeah. So the top there is the L and R, which is very similar shape like a Vita, but then you have an L2 and R2 button as well, meaning that you'll be able to play like PS2 and anything else that uses L2 and R2. Mainly, I guess PS2. I don't think. Well, I guess if you do Switch and stuff like that as well. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.3. And yeah, I mean it looks awesome. Price point starting at 339 for the base model, which is like the 8 gigabyte model, 8 gigs of RAM model, and then the Pro model will have 12 gigs of RAM. That'll be 399. There is like an early bird pricing, so pre-orders are not available now, which is why it shows sold out. But they start on the 21st, and the first 250 people to pre-order it get $30 off. So it comes out to the same price as the Ein Odin 2 Pro, which is
Why
369 for that. What's up?
so why would you get a mini over the two?
That I don't know. Like it for me, I guess it would be more like pocketability, right? It's very small compared to the Ein
And the
Odin
Odin
2.
2 is a lot bigger.
Yeah. So like the
Yeah,
Odin 2 is probably
it's
about
a
the size
six
of a
inch
Switch
screen.
Lite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
so,
6-inch screen.
gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Odin 2 Mini is a 5-inch screen, so a whole inch
Yeah.
difference in size. And the Odin 2 Mini uses a mini LED screen
So better
versus
display.
an IPS like LED LCD screen.
Yeah, so you
So,
will get a better. You have 1,000,001, contrast there on the mini LED. So basically, similar. Like you just bought an iPad Pro, basically similar to the iPad Pro. You'll get something similar to that in terms of contrast ratio, which is very nice. Um, yeah, for me, I guess it would be just really size. Something more pocketable, in the mini LED. But you do get almost half the battery life, which that's something to take into consideration. For me, I debated about it because I like the aesthetics of it. I like how it looks like a
the
Vita.
Vita.
Yeah, like I really like that look. But I don't
But
know. You guys know how I am with battery. And
Dude,
I.
like Odin 2
Hmm.
gets about, depending on the game,
Hmm.
can get like 8 to 9 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
which is
and
awesome.
not like a retro emulation. Like talking about like GameCube, like PS2 gaming.
Yeah.
So I mean, even at like 40% less, that's still like a good 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the same processor, but it's like a 40% smaller battery. So, it's still going to get 3, 4 hours, maybe even 5 hours, depending on the game, which I
Yeah.
still think is decent for something that small.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you with that, but the Odin 2 has something that the Mini doesn't have. Very important. And it has this right here. If you're looking at the stream,
Thumbsticks.
no. If you're looking at the
Oh.
stream, it has this colorway that looks like the SNES,
Oh.
which is
Okay.
very, very
Uh,
yeah, that's very important. I mean, that's a feature, right? It's a feature that's there, and it doesn't have that. So that's
I don't
actually one
like
of the
that
main reasons.
SNES color. That's so
Really?
like
You don't?
it's cool. No, it's
Oh,
like
I
it's
I like the
cool.
other one,
The
the
Japanese one.
Famicom?
the Japanese, yeah, the
Yeah,
16-bit.
Yeah.
me too.
That one. I like that one better.
Me
So the
too.
one with the rainbow buttons?
Yep.
Okay.
But I just think I don't know, like it's cool, it's nostalgic. Yeah, it reminds me of the Super Nintendo of my youth or whatever. But like, let's be real, like that purple, I don't know. I just don't find it really aesthetically pleasing
You
now.
like
The
it?
rainbow thing, like I like how clean that looks and colorful and white and everything like
Yeah.
that. So if I were to get one, it would be probably either the black one. Is there like a see-through gray one? I didn't see.
No, there's a see-through purple and
No, I wouldn't
then
do
a
that. So,
see-through blue one.
okay, so I'd either do white or I'd do black.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the see-through purple and see-through blue is like atomic purple, atomic
Hmm.
Yeah.
blue, clear. But
Correct.
yeah.
I thought about the purple to match my Game Boy Color that I have here because I have the atomic purple Game Boy Color somewhere in here. Where's it at? Here we go. So I have the atomic purple Game Boy Color. So I thought about that, but I don't know. I think I settled with the SNES, but I've been going back and forth with the rainbow color. I actually like Retro Game Core. He has a video and he customizes iNoden because you can actually go. If I go to the bottom here, where is the thing? Maybe it's not here. But if I go to the accessories page, there's actually buttons you can buy, and it's like $3 for the buttons to replace it. So you can go
I
ahead
wonder
and
how much
open
of a
that
pain in the
up.
ass it is to do.
It's actually super easy. Like you don't have to really like remove the screen or anything like that. They're just right there. So he showed it off how doing it. They have like if you look at the buttons here, there's little like like tabs in each direction, and that's like where the buttons like pretty much just stays. So he
It just
customized.
locks in.
Yeah, it locks in right there. So he has the rainbow buttons that he purchased, and then he has the white Iron Odin, but then he put black thumbsticks on it and like black buttons, black D pad, and so forth. And it looks kind of cool. Like when I saw that, I was like, that looks better than having like the
Yeah.
light grayish versus what they
Yeah,
show here.
I would panda it up, black and white.
Black and white, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer the white one too because I like, just my handhelds to be, or I guess I like the aesthetics of white. Like everything I've had, I always owned was black. I had the black GameCube, PS2 was black, of course. PS4 was black, Xbox is black, and so forth. So like when the PS5 came out, I was happy that it was white, and then I just wanted like to switch OLED. I got it in white and so forth because I just got sick and tired of having everything black. But the other retro handheld that came out, or rather was announced, was the Aya Neo Pocket DMG, and looks pretty cool. It looks like a Game Boy, but it has a
Advance
thumbstick.
SP, right?
Say it again.
Are you talking about the new one that's coming out that looks like a Game Boy Advance SP, or is that a different one?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I didn't put it on the list to talk about today, but we could have talked about it. What's up, Geek Show? Welcome to the podcast. Um, So the Pocket DMG, I have it on the stream right now. It looks like a Game Boy. It has a thumbstick on the bottom left, and then it has a like a trackpad. So instead of having a right thumbstick, it has a trackpad for whatever reason. I don't know why you would do that. Why they wouldn't just put a right thumbstick? I assume maybe because of space and or something like that. But it looks pretty cool. If I click on the Learn More, it'll kind of give us the specs of it. And my only fear of this, there's a black one. The black one actually looks pretty clean, and then the white one. My only fear of this is I and Neo tend to price their things pretty high. Like they have the Pocket S that just came out that has basically the same specs as the Ein Odin at a higher price point, and it's kind of like
$400
ridiculous.
early bird.
Early bird is 400. Yeah, like the full price when it goes into market, it's like $500. Like at that point, like why would you want that? You just get a Steam Deck for that price. Like it's not even worth it. But I mean, this looks very clean. Like I like the aesthetics of it and what it has. It has the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 chip in it, which is I believe it's the same chip that's in the iNode 2. So it's gonna be very powerful. The only thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't have that right thumbstick. Meaning, if you're going to play anything that's like PS2 or anything that might use that right thumbstick, you could use the trackpad if you wanted to, but probably wouldn't be
That's just awkward.
ideal. Yeah, it's a weird decision. The screen is 1240 by 1080p. I think it's an OLED display too on here too, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, like the aesthetics of it looks pretty nice. If it's price good, which I doubt it, I would pick one up, but I doubt it's gonna be price
No, and it's only got a
competitive.
left and right button, so it doesn't have L2 or R2.
It does have L2 and R2.
Where? Scroll up.
On
Scroll.
the I changed pages. Let me
Oh,
go
okay.
back. I'll go back.
I
real
guess I
quick.
can look it up.
Yeah, if you look, there's a spot in there. It has the left and right triggers, and then in the middle, let's see if there's a good picture.
That's all the back hump, and that's all like 2 triggers on the back hump.
Yeah,
But
there's
that
two
was
triggers
it.
there, and let me see, or maybe it doesn't. I could have sworn it had. Let's see, coastline shoulder buttons. No, maybe it doesn't have it. Maybe yeah. I guess you're right. It doesn't. I could have sworn it had it in the middle, but no. So yeah, this is probably not even worth it then at that point. Like, why would you have such a very powerful processor and not have all the buttons as needed? Yeah, that's interesting.
Unless they did like you know how they do like some of their handhelds have like a weird where it's like one long button.
Yeah,
And it's like the
push on the
farthest
left and right.
outside and right,
Yeah.
and then you go in a little bit more, and that's also a button, but it's all just one long strip.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what it's like, because it looks. I looked at the better picture on the back, and that's what it looks like. It looks like it's just a long bar on the back, and it's buttons. So I'm wondering if that's what it is, where the buttons on the back far end are L1, R2, R1, and then if you move your fingers a little further into that bar, then it's L2, R2.
That's possible. I would assume so because they have the Ioneo Pocket Micro. And if you look at that, that has an L2 and R2 right there. And that's how
Yeah.
it is. Like the outside is L1 and R1, and on the inside it's L2 and
Yeah.
R2. And this one looks exactly like a Game Boy Micro in like every way, shape, or form, which is pretty nice. They have like a little like Famicom looking design where it's that red and gold color, which I'm not a fan of that color scheme. I don't know why. I just don't I just don't like it. But yeah, it's a 3.5-inch display, 960 by 640. And it look, once again, it looks cool. It looks aesthetically, it's pretty nice. But knowing Aya Neo, it's gonna be up there in price.
Yeah.
So Brian, I have a question for you. Would you consider getting any of these handhelds at all?
I don't know. They do like it does. They're cool. Like they're toys. Like that's how I kind of look at them. Like they're cool toys that the I don't know, the 8-year-old in me or whatever would just love to have a little mini thing and play games on or whatever. But then I just think about the beautiful Steam Deck OLED I have, and yeah, it's big and it's not something that's pocketable, but I don't know. I'm just kind of someone that's more about playing official releases of things. And
Yeah.
granted, it's hard to play official releases of games that will never get released again. They'll never see the light of day. So
Like Breath of Fire 4.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I mean, like I would like, for example, like I would love to play on Honda, that PlayStation 1 Square shooter game. I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Like that's such a cool, awesome shooter, but you can't, unless I went on eBay and bought like an original PSX copy, like I can't play that. So there's a part of me that I do find emulation and stuff appealing, but on the other hand, like it's just such a pain to have to like hook it up, move the libraries over, make sure everything looks nice, and it's like I don't know.
What about you, fan?
I'll probably not get it because Ion Neo is expensive.
What about the Iron Odin 2 Mini?
Still expensive. I like the size. I was actually thinking of getting a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro because that's only $199, and it's like 4.7-inch screen. You know, which I was looking for something just a little smaller to like easier to carry around.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, I like my Steam Deck. It's just it is kind of big, and you know, when I'm just sitting at home on the couch, it's fine. But when I'm like at work or something, and I kind of want to just be able to pull something out like easily.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like, what made me think about the Iron Odin 2, which, I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago, is that how heavy the Steam Deck is in my hand. So if I'm playing like these retro games, I just get tired a little bit quicker. And I don't know, it's just something doesn't sit right with playing like Pokemon Emerald on a bigger screen. Like it being a little bit smaller just makes better sense. And it was stuff like that that started going through my head. I was like, you know what? I want something a little bit smaller, a little bit better in battery life as well, and something I can just easily take with me on the go. And that's where the Iron Odin 2 came in handy. I know now there's the Mini, which is smaller, but in my head, I still want better battery life. I mean, we all know my rant on the ROG Ally was battery life, and to me, I don't know. I just wouldn't sacrifice battery life if for the same performance, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, you get a better screen and it's a smaller volume, but I would rather it be a tad bit bigger with a better battery life than a smaller with less battery life, if that makes sense. That's just me. Battery life means everything. Saves you on your electricity bill. You don't have to charge as much.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
still, like, even if you get 4 hours out of the Mini, I think that's still decent. Especially you know
Yeah.
for size, you can sit on the subway, commute on a bus trip, play for a little while. You'd be
Mhm.
fine.
That's true. That is true. We'll see what I decide. Because if I can pick it up at $369 at the same price as the Odin Pro, then I might just get that instead. But we'll see. I have to go back into my mind palace. I'll do some type of. What I'll do is I'll have Smash Brothers running. I'll have two computer players at level 9 fight each other, and I'll name one like Iron Odin 2 Pro and Iron Odin 2 Mini, and then whoever
They have
wins,
to be the
that's what I
same
decide.
character.
Okay, same character. Oh, I'll have
Yeah,
one
Which
smaller
character? Which character will represent them?
Yeah.
I don't know. So maybe we'll have Pikachu as the Iron Odin 2 Pro, and then Pichu as the Iron Odin 2 Mini. There we go. And they had to fight each other. I think that would
Or-
be
That
make
tracks.
sense, right?
Or you could did Mario and Luigi.
That's true. They're yeah. I could do Mario and Luigi, or I could have Link and Young Link, right?
Yeah.
There's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd actually
Maybe-
probably make more sense. Link and Young Link because size difference. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Maybe we'll
Like
do
Toon
multiple.
Link is mini, and then like you got Adult Link.
We'll have multiple, right? Like multiple rounds, like best out of 3. So we can have like round 1 is Pikachu versus Pichu, round 2 Mario versus Luigi, and round 3 Link versus Young Link. There we go. I think that makes sense. We have a plan.
Sounds like a good video to me.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll put the fate of my decision lands on these characters. And maybe, hopefully, I don't shut it off before I decide to make a decision,
You're just gonna unplug the. I'm like, whoops, nope, before the decision. Because like, I guess I gotta do it again.
I've done that
Turn off
before.
the screen. Pichu is cheating.
Yeah. I've done that before. Like, you flip a coin to make a decision. It's like, no, I think the win actually, like, did something to it. So let me try this again. And, like, you keep going, you get the same results and want something different. But speaking of handhelds, PlayStation is back in the rumor mill with handhelds. Apparently, the new PlayStation Portable, right, which I dub PSP2, has been in the news. This was according to, it was a tweet that I saw that, I forgot the person's name, but from Reset Era. they went and posted that the new PlayStation Portable is still in the works. But here's the thing that got me: it's supposed to play PS4 games, not PS5 games. And when I saw that, I was like, why? What do you guys think about that?
Why
Um,
it won't play why it would play PS4 games?
No, like, what do you think about the PlayStation, like PSP2, right, or whatever the new portable would be? It won't play PS5 games. It'll play PS4
Right.
games, right? So what do you think? Would you pick up one if it doesn't play PS5 games?
depending on the game library, that's what it's gonna depend,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Just because
yeah.
it plays PS4 games, well, does that mean like it's all gonna be all digital, and it's just gonna be all PS4 digital games? Is that what it is?
Yeah. That's what
Like,
it's
what is
sounding
it?
like.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it just says plays PS4 games. That's
Yeah.
it. And it's like I don't know. Oh, Brian, what were your thoughts before I say something?
I'm really on the fence about picking something up like that. Like if it was a system that let you play your PS4 library natively on it, like all of your pre-existing purchased PlayStation 4
Yeah.
games. Wow, that was a heck of an alliteration. Um, then maybe I could see myself going for depending on what the price point is. But if it's like this is a whole new library and you're gonna get like Spider-Man for PS Vita 2 or something, I don't know. I have so much other stuff to play stuff on, and
Well, I would
I,
assume
I'm
it's
super indifferent.
your existing library, right?
Yeah, if
So
that's it,
so
then
let's put
maybe
it
depending
this
on the price
way.
point.
Yeah. So you would get it if it's your existing library.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And you fan, you said no or yes.
I'm kind of depending on the library. Like, if it's all gonna be digital and it's just PS4 games, probably not.
And I'm sitting there at the same point, like at the same point, because I'm
Like,
like,
I've got a PS5
yeah,
that can play PS4 games, right? If I want to play those games portable, I'll just do remote play.
yeah.
You know,
For for me, it's just that my biggest issue, right, is that I would like to play PS5 games. If you could play PS5 games and PS4 graphics, I wouldn't matter. Like it wouldn't matter to me as long as I can play the game in a portable state. But not having PS5 games does limit the library a little bit. I mean, there's not a lot of exclusives that are PS5 only, but you have like Stellar Blade. You won't be able to play Stellar Blade on that. You won't be able to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You won't be able to play Final Fantasy 16. You won't be able to play Demon Souls. And let's see what else. Did Gran Turismo come out on both PS4 and PS5? Or was that PS5 only? You guys remember?
I think that was.
'Cause I don't remember that one because I know Horizon Forbidden West came out on both, and so
Yeah, it
did God
did.
of
As did
War
God of War
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Yep. Mhm.
Miles Morales did. I guess Spider Man 2 was PS5 exclusive, so you wouldn't be able to play that. Ratchet and Clank, I guess, is another one, so you wouldn't be able to play that either.
Yep.
So that that's quite a bit of games right there. Like if you were thinking about playing those games, or you wanted to get into the ecosystem, those are games you can't play that are stuck on the PS5. And I could see Sony, because Sony's been doing some weird stuff. I could see Sony thinking like, yeah, they get this, they start loving the library, and then they're like, well, I might as well get a PS5. But then for PS5 owners that already own one, they're probably like, well, why would I get something that takes me back in time and not play those games here, right? It's not
yeah,
like PS4 is a retro system, right?
yeah,
But it's not like Nintendo selling you a GameCube Mini. Like a lot of people will hop on a GameCube Mini and play games from there, but that's a system that's, man, it's like almost 20 years old at this point. that's,
Don't
that's a
say
system
that.
that's almost 20 years old there. So it's like that's totally different from a PS4 that's what, maybe 10 years old, about right, give or take 10 years.
I just
yeah.
read something today or yesterday that it's like the time between the NES and the PSP coming out
Yeah.
is less than what it was between the PSP and now. I think that's what I read, and that fills me with such dread. I hate it.
Yeah, because I mean, back then consoles were coming out a lot quicker. It was like every 5 years or something like that. Now it's every 7 years. The PS3 and the 360 era was super long, and the PS4 era was what, almost like 7 years. Let's say 6, 7 years. And the Switch is 8 years in its life cycle. So it's like, But yeah, I think this will be a pass, and I hope Sony's not thinking of doing this because if that's the case, that's a stupid move. Like
Yeah, I mean,
PlayStation,
they just if they look at the sales of the Portal,
yeah,
it should tell them something.
yeah. Well, according to them, though, Portal's a success.
I don't think it's a success because I work at Best Buy and we did not really have a lot of those go off the shelves,
That is true. That is true.
and mainly because there was barely any stock of them, so they obviously didn't manufacture a ton,
Yeah.
and we didn't really sell a lot of them.
I think
Even
they've said
when they came
publicly
in.
that it definitely exceeded their expectations. I thought
Yeah.
they
No,
So
said
then their
that.
expectations were very low.
That is true. Their expectations could have been low. It's kind of like we were talking about Square Enix and
Oh yeah, their sales. Yeah.
yeah, when we were talking about and yesterday actually, I was talking to a group of people about Square Enix and their sales numbers being low and how like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't meet their expectations and stuff like that. But then somebody brought up a good point that we did not talk about it and discuss it on the podcast, but we probably should have thought about it this way. Maybe Square does not know how to project their numbers. Maybe their expectations were way too high. Maybe they thought Rebirth was going to
Yeah,
sell like 20
they usually
million
are.
copies. And they're just bad at just, referring these numbers. Because typically when you set expectations to investors, you want to go for a realistic number, right? You're not going to be like, hey, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to sell 300 million copies.
Yeah, 100 million copies, 200 million copies.
Yeah, everybody that owns a PS5 is going to buy 2 copies. That's how much it's going to sell. Like, you don't come up with stuff like that. And maybe that could have been something. But anyways, maybe, yeah, with a PlayStation Portal, maybe Sony was like, yeah, we're probably going to sell negative copies or something like that. And then they realized, oh, we're selling, instead of negative, we're actually a positive number. And they won't say what number, but it's actually positive.
Yeah.
So that's possible.
It probably like set numbers like, oh, we're going to do we know how many units they sold?
No, they didn't say any
Portals?
units.
Okay. So that's what I'm like, if they're saying it was they did better than they thought and didn't even say how many units they sold. Yeah, their expectations were very low.
Our expectations was 20 units, but we did 21. So
they probably
I was
like,
listening-
we manufactured 50,000 units and all of them sold within 6 months.
That's true.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Yeah, 50,000 units sold in 6 months. Yeah, probably in the whole world. Yeah, I mean, come on, expectations. Jeez.
I was listening to this podcast. It's really solid. It's called
The Random Encounter.
I think it's my favorite console, my dream console. I forget. It's with this guy named Simon Park, and he's like I think his name's Simon Park, and he's a games journalist, and he brings these guests on, and they're like celebrities in the gaming sphere usually, or like they're well-known names or whatever, voice actors, developers, directors, whatever. And he had a few months ago he had on what's his name, the guy that did like Chrono Trigger and 6 and everything. What's his name?
Sakaguchi.
No,
Like
Kitase?
Well, Kitase it was a producer, but he was part of the team of 6, but he didn't really have any real like big involvement, I would say, because he was still under
What's
Sakaguchi.
the guy that I'm thinking of?
It's probably Kitase.
That's not good. Okay, maybe. So if it wasn't him, I apologize. I don't mean to misquote him. I think it was though. I'm gonna double check. Hang on one second, because I just want to talk about something that he said that very much is
because the dream team member of Chrono Trigger was Sakaguchi, Yuji Horii, and then Akira Toriyama. That was considered the dream team. And then of course you add in Yoshinori Mitsuda for musician too.
Maybe that's it. Or no, I don't know. Hold on. This will only take a second. Okay, I found the show. Just need to find the episode.
His name is Yoshinori Kitase. That's the other guy.
Yoshinori Kitase. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So the composer?
No, he's no, Kitase is a
producer.
He's like the new Final Fantasy head.
So he was talking about in this podcast, I want to say it was slightly before Rebirth coming out, or maybe slightly after, but like very much not like before Rebirth started selling, where he was saying like we want we have this expectation, or we expect Rebirth to like expand beyond what Remake did, and like to open up to all new audiences. And in my head I'm thinking like, dude, who is gonna buy Rebirth that didn't play Remake already? Like the sales are gonna be less than Rebirth. Like that's just the nature of things. Like it has to be.
Especially
Like
since Remake was on PS4 and PS5,
that too, right?
and Rebirth was only PS5.
Right. And so I'm like, there you go. There's what you're talking about, those unrealistic expectations. It's like you can't expect, unless like at the same time, like there's a crazy amount. Because he was saying something about like how there's like a 2-pack that they were selling, like Rebirth and Remake together. So unless there's just a run of people like seeing Rebirth footage, like, oh, I got to play that. I got to go do Remake first. I'm going to buy this dual pack that came out. Like there's no way that the Rebirth thing by itself is going to sell more than Remake because of like fans said, the PS4 ratio to PS, because it released on both consoles.
Yeah.
Also, COVID, people were inside. They want to play this new hype thing, and then 3 that it was very hype at the time when it came out, and now Rebirth. It's just so hard to approach for a newcomer. I just have no idea how they could say that it's going to expand anything.
I was gonna say, don't forget the free money.
The free money.
Free money.
COVID money.
Yeah, COVID money.
Oh, gotcha.
If people had a little more income
Stimulus.
at the time, the stimulus.
Yeah, exactly. Free money. That's what people were doing. They were like, "Oh, this is for living. I need to live off of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Here we go." Like,
I want to live in this world instead of this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take the Mako poisoned world over the COVID poisoned world.
I'll take the world where the Earth actually fights back. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's basically M. Night Shyamalan movie right there.
That's true. It's just another one that's like that. That is true. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No offense to Kitase, like, I respect the guy, but it's like, I honestly think like since he's been in charge of Final Fantasy, I don't think he knows what he's doing. It's sad to say. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason Sakaguchi left was a feud between him, that he was probably moving on up and wanted to do his own thing, and Sakaguchi was like, nah, man, like, you don't know what you're doing. And maybe he broke apart that way, because if you look at Sakaguchi games since he's left Square, they're still bangers, right? Lost Odyssey, amazing. Last Story, amazing. Fantasian, amazing. There's a mobile game that he made that I guess people like. I wasn't a fan of it because it's not an RPG. It's like some weird, like, I don't know what you would call it type of game. It's just different. Well, I wasn't a fan of that. But like his last 3 RPGs, Blue Dragon, another one he made, amazing, right?
I thought that was kind of a tepid response, Blue Dragon. I thought that was like 6s and 7s when it came out.
It probably was more like 7s, but it came out at the time where, don't forget that like people were starting to hate on Japanese RPGs. Like anything that was a Japanese RPG was negative. This is when the term JRPG came out, and it was like you said the word JRPG, it was actually seen as a negative versus what they are again today. Because you remember that time frame in 2004, 2005, there was just a lot of hate on IGN. There's a lot of like, or not IGN, but like in articles. There's an article on IGN that still you can find where they're just bashing JRPGs, and it's crazy. And they said the term JRPG, and I hated that term because I remember working at Best Buy and people coming in, and they're like, the minute I was like, yeah, I don't like Skyrim or anything like that. Like, oh, what are you into, like JRPGs? I was like, you mean Japanese RPGs? Yeah, I prefer Japanese RPGs. And they were like, bashing it because they're like, oh, this is so mid and blah 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 and all this other stuff.
It's so weebish.
Yeah, exactly. That's how.
Then
how
again,
it was
though, James.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I mean, when Blue Dragon came out, like there was slim pickings for those kinds of games on 360. So there wasn't competition. There was like Enchanted Arms and Eternal Sonata, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like so, it's not like the competition was high yet. It's still got like a game that's made by it has Akira. Isn't it Akira Toriyama art? Didn't it?
Well, no, he did the
like
art.
A game with a game with Akira Toriyama art made by that guy like still gets like 7s. Like I don't know. Like Lost Odyssey, I agree with you. Like that's a quality game that I've only read incredible reviews about. But I want to make sure we don't have revisionist history of the good old days of Blue Dragon when it might not.
Blue
have
Dragon's
been
pretty good.
Okay.
I played it. I started playing it because I didn't play it at launch. I played it maybe about 2 years ago when it was on sale for like
fair enough.
$3, and I actually liked it. Like I went into it, and it's a great game. It's basically Persona without Persona, if that makes sense. Like, because they're little dragons, they're called shadows that they have. They're literally personas, and then they have their own like magic abilities. The only difference is you can't like swap out your.
So it's Shin Megami Tensei then.
I guess, yeah, because you have like
that's Persona without Persona.
Yeah, so I guess it's more like that. But then it has the nice like Sakaguchi touch to it, in terms of like the story and how everything
And the
comes
Toriyama
together.
artwork.
And the Toriyama artwork. You have a character that looks like Gohan, literally. So. But yeah. Anyways, like Sakaguchi still makes great stuff, and Square. I don't know. I feel like they're at a loss ever since Kit
They're
has
losing you,
came in.
James.
It's in my opinion they're losing me. Like
I
outside
know.
of
That's why I said
other
they're losing
stuff,
you.
because Square's not losing me. Final Fantasy is, right?
Mm.
Because like I still enjoyed Octopath Traveler 2,
Star Ocean.
Star Ocean, Bravely Default.
More
Uh,
classical RPGs.
yeah, I guess more like that. Just rebirthing. I'm enjoying Rebirth, especially the ending. I'm happy, but I think it's just because I'm more excited to get done with it and see the ending more than anything. But the
Yeah, I
combat
cannot wait
has
to
grown
get
on
your
me.
take on that.
Yeah, we'll have to do a spoiler cast one of these
Yeah,
days.
I'd love to.
But anyways, going back to the original topic, PlayStation Portal, PSP2, whatever you want to call it, or not Portal, PlayStation Portable, PSP2, PS Vita 2. They probably won't use the Vita name again. But
No, Vita
yeah,
does not mean life.
yeah, exactly. Uh, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. If more information comes out, we'll definitely report on that. Moving on to our last bit of major news, Assassin's Creed Shadow finally
Oh
revealed.
God, the viewership of the podcast just dropped.
Yeah. Um,
Lots of vitriol in the comments now.
yeah, exactly. Assassin's Creed Shadow got revealed. That was, I believe, like Code Red was the nickname, right? Or Project Red or something like that, which was their Japanese-centered Assassin's Creed game. And before we get into the controversy, let's talk about the game. Looks like there's two characters you play as. You play as Yasuke, who's the samurai, and then I forgot what the female protagonist's name is, but she's a ninja.
Starts
Um,
with an N from where I
Shinobi,
remember.
right?
yeah, is that what it is?
I
Novi?
think so.
Okay.
Shinobi. I think they're Shinobi.
Oh well, Shinobi. Yeah, ninja Shinobi. Um, so like, you have two different paths. I'm interested to see how it's gonna go. Like, I'm assuming Yasuke, because he's a samurai, his like gameplay would be different than the ninja because she's gonna be more stealth based. But who knows? Like, I think it would be kind of weird if you have a samurai using stealth, because the whole thing, like Ghost of Tsushima, for example, the whole thing with samurais don't do that. They don't stab people from the back. They don't do anything. If you challenge somebody, you do it face to face, and do it up front. Where ninjas were the ones that were doing the backstabbing and hiding in the shadows and doing all that stuff. So I'm assuming they're gonna be two different type of gameplays
Okay.
elements there. You got
All
the
right, I don't
name?
know how to say the name, but it's
Mhm.
Naoe. So Naoe, that's her name, the ninja.
We'll go with what you
Naoe.
said.
Yeah.
We'll go with what you said. Uh, but they only showed off a cinematic trailer, and I hate cinematic trailers. I'm sorry. Like, as
Yeah, me too.
cool
Absolutely.
as this could be, might be, maybe. Like, if you show me a cinematic trailer, I don't care. Like, the hype is not in it, and I'm not hyped for it
Yep.
right now because it's a cinematic trailer. I could
Especially
care
since it's
less.
supposed to come out this year,
Yeah,
November.
Right.
exactly.
They could
And
have showed some gameplay.
exactly, that would have been even better. That would have gotten people more hyped if you show off the
Right.
gameplay. But to me, it kind of
And
also
it's far
shows
enough
like
along
lack
where
of
they could do it.
confidence. Mm-hmm. To me, it just shows like it's a lack of confidence, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not the biggest issue there. The biggest controversy people have, well, there is another biggest controversy, but one of the controversies is their pricing. $130 for their like special edition, digital. This is all digital. $130. Like, that's like almost 2 games for that special edition. And I want to say it's the second time Ubisoft did this too. This is ridiculous. They also have a battle pass for the single player game. A freaking battle pass. Like, I'm sorry, but if I don't pick it up, it's because of Ubisoft's, like, or Ubisoft, however you want to pronounce their name, their stupidity more than anything else.
Predatory nature.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, there's other controversy that people are talking about, which I think they're stupid. And if they want to fight about it, that's, good for them. Go ahead and fight about it. The things we should be actually talking about is this controversy of this pricing. Like, it is ridiculous. Why would you have a battle pass in a single player game? It makes no sense. Like, if there's going to be online elements, then yeah. But, oh, man, I don't know. This is the same company that's, trying to put ads in your pause menu and put ads in other places. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that you're playing this game that takes place in, feudal era Japan, and there's somehow a billboard, an electronic billboard there that's showing an ad of like Coca-Cola or something, so they can just show some type of ad and get paid there. Like,
Oh God,
yeah.
that I'm just reminded of a scene in the movie Ready Player One
Oh
when they
yeah,
were
where
talking
they're
about like
ads.
ad space like all over your face.
Yeah,
Like
I
God.
wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to do that. Like, but yeah, what is your guys' take on Assassin's Creed Shadow? Like, we won't really talk about the the controversy that everybody on Twitter is like talking about, because I don't care. Let them fight about that.
That's
That's their
that's
problem.
that's a dumb controversy, to be
Yeah,
honest. There's
True
there's a lot
is.
more things they could be arguing about, but that's the stupidest thing they
yeah,
could be arguing about. Especially when the thing they're arguing about not being historically accurate is actually historically accurate, which makes
yeah,
no sense.
yeah.
But yeah, the whole battle passing. I mean, as long as it's not a requirement for me to like play the game, like to main storyline, I'll it's whatever. I'm just gonna treat it as DLC. Like if it's just to add to the main story, not to take away from the main story, then it's whatever. But the pricing, that is ridiculous.
What if every time you press pause, you get like like gotcha games? They have those little pop up things that come up. You get like an ad that says
In
buy
the
the battle
wheel.
pass, buy buy the
Oh,
battle pass, buy the battle.
God. Oh, then at that point, I'm gonna ask for a refund.
Could
Because
you
you're like
imagine that?
invading in my space and interrupting my gameplay.
Yeah. It's like after every mission, it's like, cool, you did this mission, but how about you buy the battle pass instead? Like, Assassin's Creed Origins had that. I don't know if you remember, if you didn't grind and you died, they would say, hey, you can buy this XP bonus pack that's like $10. It was ridiculous. And I remember I quit Origins the first time around because of that. I was super upset at that. I was like, no, I died and you're trying to sell me something because I died? Yeah, screw you. But eventually I went back to it and played it, and I actually loved it. What about you, Bryant?
So this I feel the same way about this kind of as I do about the controversy with the other controversy with this game that we're not discussing. It's just like, guys, like, we have so many years on this planet, and this is the stuff we're gonna get like worked up about. Like, I agree that I think it's predatory. Like, I think it's awful, and like I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Like, I agree 100%. But like, you're saying before, like, Final Fantasy is kind of losing you, or you're kind of,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's kind of how I feel about like a lot of games that are coming out now, where it's like you have battle passes and $130 editions. Like, was it Star Wars Outlaws that kind of had a similar thing?
Yeah, I
Was
think
not
that's
the
what
game
it
Star Wars
was.
Outlaws?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
Ubisoft
like,
game.
dude, what'd you say?
It's an Ubisoft game as well.
Yeah, there you go. It's just like, I have so many games to play from all of these years that I've never gotten to, and I'll just wait until, like, I'm interested in it because I love Japan. I love ancient Japan, especially after watching Shogun, especially how I love all the like, my passion stemmed largely in Japan with video games and stuff like that, Nintendo, Sony, all that stuff. And so anything to do with that area, I love, and I find so incredibly intriguing. Um, but at the same time, like, I have so much stuff to play that I've bought over the years, and it's like I could go 10 years without buying a single video game, and I'd probably not even crack like a quarter of my library.
Oh,
And
sure.
maybe I'll pick it up when it goes on sale, and I'll just get like the base version. And like, this kind of goes to like what Stellar Blade is. Like, Stellar Blade came out, there's like a deluxe edition that was like $10 more. You got a couple extra like accoutrements, like a costume or like an accessory or something like that. And if somebody wants to pay an extra 10 for that, support the developers, they're passionate about the game. I think I did that. Like, that's fine. Like, that's whatever. But like, 130, so it was 130 for that, and you get like all this stuff. That's I don't know.
That's two games. Like, that's
That's ridiculous.
yeah, that I could think of other things to spend that money on. That's like half
Yes.
a Ein Odin 2. Like almost half an Ein Odin 2 right there. Uh, so actually maybe not almost half, but no, yeah, almost half the base model. There we go.
Yeah,
But it's like, I don't
I'll get
know.
it when it goes on sale.
Yeah, like if I don't get it, it's not because of anything but their business model. Like, that
Right.
would be the reason why I don't pick it up. And that's really what's been kind of like making me not want to pick up a Ubisoft game. Like, I was excited for Mirage, but then in my head I'm like, it's an Ubisoft game. There's got to be something like dumb in it. You had to get on the Ubisoft launcher, what is it, Ubisoft Connect and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like originally I was like, oh, I'll just get it on PS5, but then I don't use my PS5 enough. So I'm actually waiting for it to come out on iPhone, and then I'll play it on my iPhone or iPad instead, because I can play it portable that way. If Assassin's Creed Shadow came out on iPad and iPhone, then I probably would pick it up that way too. So I don't have to get a launcher or
Didn't
any
they
of
say
that
it's
stuff.
coming out that way?
It's coming out on Mac, but it's not coming out on
Okay.
iPad. At least I didn't see it
Okay, got
say
it.
iPad
Okay.
and iPhone.
I thought I
hope
read
so.
Apple something. Okay.
Yeah, I hope so. That would be nice because then I would definitely play it on my iPad or iPhone, whichever it might be. Uh, but yeah, that's the thing. Like their launcher kind of sucks. Like I did buy quite a few games from
It
their
is really
launcher.
janky.
Yeah, I bought a few games from their launcher because back then they will give you like these gold coins, and they had some crazy like ridiculous sales. So I bought like a bunch of games. Like I think I got like Splinter Cell Blacklist for like $2. Origins I got for like $2. Assassin's Creed Unity I got for free. Black Flag I got for free. The Ezio trilogy I got for free. Like I had like all these crazy things for free, but it would like freeze up my PC or the games would freeze. It was just like, to me it wasn't worth it. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna really use this anymore. But yeah, I don't know. My take on it is like the controversy, like it's the small things, right? Like the biggest thing they're talking about is just a retainer versus actual samurai. I'm like, just play the game. That's
Who
it.
cares? There's
like-
so much stuff to get worked up about. Like
Yeah,
I don't get it.
nobody said that about Neo. It was
Yeah,
about
Neo was a white guy. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not even that. Like Neo was about John. What's his name? John.
Yeah, the real guy.
Yeah,
Isn't it the same guy that was based Shogun?
Yeah, Shogun's
Is it
based
the
off
same
him.
guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Williams. Is the
Blackthorn?
composer. Blackthorn.
Blackthorn is Shogun.
Is Shogun, but the real name is John something. Oh man. Or no, it's William.
Yeah.
Shoot, William something. That's what it is.
Let's just think of a really British name. William Seamus.
William Adams.
Yeah,
yeah, William Adams. There we go. That's actually his name. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
It sounds right.
It sounds right. I'm gonna trust you with that. I'm gonna trust you not just making up random names here.
We don't know. It could be right. It could be wrong.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You could be saying anything.
No, I looked it up. I
you
googled
did?
it.
did? Okay.
Yeah, and
So,
it
yeah,
says fictional but based on real life William Adams.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, there was him, right? And I mean, like he's
Yeah.
fighting like demons.
Why
and stuff
wasn't
like
there
that.
any controversy about that?
Wasn't there? I
It's-
thought maybe there was. I don't know.
I mean, it might have been. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody
No.
was saying something about it being like whitewashed or something like that. Like that would have been a
Right.
controversy.
So what
for
about
that.
Onimusha like 2 or 3 or whatever when it was the freaking blonde?
Oh, John Reno.
Yeah, that was 3. Yeah,
3, yeah.
but he was a secondary character. Like he was the second main character. He wasn't the main.
I know,
one,
but
so-
still, it-
Yeah. I mean, people just
people
wanna-
get their like panties in a bunch for like the dumbest things.
Yeah, they just want to fight. But like, if
Especially
anything-
when they're fighting about something that like, because from what I've heard, I haven't like gone into it, but from what I heard, people are just mad because it's like, oh, why is there a black dude? Why is there a black guy samurai? And like, well, it's based on a real person. We just
Yeah.
decided to, based on a real person. And then they get pissed off like, oh, you're not portraying him accurately based on history. I'm like, it's a freaking game based on
Yeah.
a fictional assassin guild. It doesn't. He's just based on a person. It doesn't have to be 100%.
Pretty sure Da
historically
Vinci
accurate.
wasn't Inspector Gadget either.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
Leonardo da Vinci.
exactly.
Come on.
It-
I mean,
yeah,
I
it's-
bet people loved that Da Vinci was making stuff
Yeah,
for Ezio.
That's cool.
They're
yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. Like do it
Yeah,
through
I
a little
didn't-
twist.
I didn't think anything about Da Vinci or the Borgias. They're not. I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
weren't Templars because those
Yeah.
are real people. The Borgias that you had to
Yeah.
fight. I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure they weren't Templars.
And it wasn't in 3 Washington was like controlled by like a poison apple or something like that,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
like a
yeah.
tyrant
Yeah,
or something.
it was
Like
George
that's real.
Washington. Who was it? In what's it called? Assassin's Creed Rogue. There was who was it? Benjamin Franklin, I believe. It was in there. And he was, what was he? He was something, I don't know, but yeah, anyways, these are other like historical figures that they
Right.
kind of change.
Embellish, whatever.
Yeah, and all the controversies about the wording, right? Retainer versus samurai. Who cares? Like
Who cares?
The point is, he wore the samurai armor, used a samurai sword. He got trained as a samurai. Yes, if his title was a samurai, whatever. He was a samurai in spirit. But yeah,
It's a
uh,
game.
Ubisoft, change your pricing.
The
Change
pricing is the
your
much bigger deal, in my opinion.
yes, your pricing.
$130 is insane.
Yeah, plus an $18 battle pass. Oh, and if you get the $130, you don't get the features of the battle pass. By the way, like so,
That's unbelievable.
yeah.
If I pay 130, I better like have everything.
Yep. So
And that's basically a
tis-
collector's edition. I mean, come on.
a digital collector's edition of something that once it's gone, it's gone. It's not yours. Which is stupid. Like I would rather pay $130 for like a physical statue of of like Yasuke and the ninja or something like that.
Or
right?
you get like a kunai, you know?
Yeah, I mean
I don't know, James.
maybe.
He's a retainer. It's not worth as much.
I don't care if it looks cool. I'm getting it regardless.
What if they shipped you like an actual retainer?
Retainer for my mouth. Like, that was something. That'll be something that somebody who hates people would do, right? But yeah, like that's something you could have done. Like, wasn't there the Rebirth? Didn't it have a collector's edition with Sephiroth, or did I make that up?
Yeah, it had like the big Sephiroth statue.
Yeah. And how much was that? Do you remember the pricing on that?
It was like 250. I'll double check. Hang on.
Okay. So maybe not quite $130. Like that would have been cool. Not the statue of Sephiroth in an Assassin's Creed game, but like
It was 349.
oof. Oh man. Good luck.
Pricey.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's an Einoden. I'm gonna compare everything to an Einoden too. That's how we measure money on this podcast. How many Einodens can you get?
That's the logo of the podcast. Is an I know.
Man, then the collector's edition costs 2 GameCube SPs.
Yeah. 2 RG35XX.
That's gonna start our own currency.
That's how we do it. It's funny. That's how I do it when I talk to people about stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, well, that's $30 savings." I'm like, "Well, I mean, look at that. It can be like a meal at Olive Garden or something like that. That's like 2 cartons of eggs right there. I mean, you got that
Classic sales tactic.
exactly. There you go. And the minute you do that, you speaks to them. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing before we end the podcast. Let's start with you, Bryant. What have you not been playing? No, just kidding.
So like I said at the beginning, Stellar Blade, I'm really gonna try to get the platinum and finish it tomorrow. I have no plans tomorrow, so that's all I'm gonna do pretty much is just sit and try to finish it. Like I could have finished it probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago if I just would have gone to the ending and do it, but I knew and did it, but I know that I want to get the platinum, so like I kind of stopped myself and did all the various side stuff. I'm almost done. That's what I'm doing. I've also I really am having this kind of urge to play Final Fantasy IV. Like I want to play it on my Steam Deck because I just think it's the most cozy idea in the world. Is just like playing Final Fantasy IV on my Steam Deck. What are you laughing about?
Remaster or the
Sorry,
3D?
sorry.
Is what I said that funny?
No. It's just when you say you want to play Final Fantasy IV, I was actually just playing Final Fantasy IV 3D on my Steam Deck.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, like
That's why I was like,
yeah,
I was
the
laughing.
Pixel
Like, that's just funny.
remaster. Yeah, what are the odds? But like my problem is that like there's a part of me that really wants to like platinum all the Final Fantasy games or get like the achievements on Steam or whatever, and it's almost like ruined games for me to the point where it's like I can't even enjoy it because I know that I'm gonna get obsessive and like want to get the platinum on this classic game.
This addiction.
And I wish I could kind of just like, what'd you say?
You got this addiction. That's what they want.
Yeah, it's like that's like kind of something that I respect about Switch is like it would be cool to have achievements for like beat Super Mario World or got to level 6 in Super Mario Brothers 3. Like that would be kind of cool, but at the same time like it's really just it's very natural. It's very like I'm just going to play this game to play it. There's no
I don't have to reward you for every little thing you do.
Yeah, and so like I really would like to get to that. I'm still playing Hi-Fi Rush, enjoying that a lot. I went and I bought I triple dipped or double dipped on it. I bought it on Steam and Xbox, and actually triple dipped then. Steam, Xbox and PS5. I triple dipped and I bought all the because like it was on sale and I got all the extra stuff because it was on sale too. Because I just am such a believer in that game. I just think it's just incredibly original and it's just cool and different. And then lastly, Oh, what was the other thing I was gonna bring up? I just had it. Um, what was it? Oh, now I remember. I bought Final Fantasy 14 on my Mac. It was on sale for like $23, like the entire package on Mac.
Yeah.
And it comes with, Heaven's Word, Realm Reborn, obviously, Stormblood,
And Walker.
Endwalker. I think that's all of them except for Dawn Trail, which is coming out like in a couple weeks or whatever. And
Um,
then it also came with a free month of
Shadowbringer
service.
or Shadowbringer,
Shadow,
right? Yeah. Is it
Shadow,
Shadow?
Dawn Trail, Shadowbringers, Endwalker.
Stormblood.
Dawn Trail's coming.
Yeah, Dawn Trail's so the ones that it would come with would be, of course, Realm Reborn, Heaven's
Yep.
Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and then Endwalker. Those would be the 5.
Correct. Yeah. So all that for $23, and then it also gave me a free month of service too. That kind of just seemed like a no-brainer, and I played it a little bit last night, and still overwhelmed. It still overwhelms the heck out of me as far as like all the actions and all the systems and stuff like that. But I just love the world and the idea of it so much that I just keep bashing my head against the wall trying to get into it and like get the hook that so many people can get. But I'll keep chugging along on it. I'm like level like almost 50 or something like that, so we'll
It's
keep
the
going with that. That's
story.
what I'm playing.
The story's the
Mm.
hook for me. It has the Final Fantasy 16 thing of like you do a huge story beat, and you have these smaller quests. There's like, all right, let me get to the next big story beat, and then you go to the next big story beat. The game doesn't story wise doesn't pick up till like Heaven's Ward though. Like Heaven's Ward
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
like
say I know Realm
peak.
Reborn story is kind of not great, but then the
Yeah.
expansions really get it
Yeah,
going.
I mean, towards the end, yeah, it's decent, but yeah, Heaven's Ward just like peaks, and then it just each expansion gets better and better and better. And then of course, like they add in stuff like Crystal Tower. Like Crystal Tower has its own storyline where you go through the Crystal Tower from Final Fantasy 3. There's Rabanastre from Final Fantasy 12 as a
Mhm.
dungeon. There's the Final Fantasy Tactics thing where it's actually
Ooh.
uh, according to them, it's a canon sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. It takes
Oh,
place
interesting.
years after the end of Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's kind of cool. You see some returning characters or like their spirits or whatever come back and kind of explain stuff. But you're the person that's in the raid with you is the either the grandson, I think, of Ramza, who's the main
Oh,
character in Final Fantasy Tactics. So that one's cool. There's a canon near raid as well, and that's canon to near, which is
yeah.
cool.
Alex was telling me about that. He wants me to go through that.
Yeah, because that is canon. So if you care about the near like universe, then there's that one as well. There's a Final Fantasy 8 one, which is pretty cool. There's an area that plays just blue fields.
Oh,
The
that's
world
all you
map
need in
song.
life, really.
Yeah, it just plays blue fields, and you just walk through there, and that's all you hear is the blue fields song. I was like, oh man, yes. But yeah, that's its hook. Like, there's a lot of it's a love letter to Final Fantasy, and it does it great. Like, I stopped playing because it's just time consuming. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, unfortunately. As much as I like it, like if there was a single player version of it, would have been cool, but there isn't. What about you, fan?
I mean, I've been playing a little bit of everything. I mean, I brought my 3DS to work today, so I was just dipping in that because I was messing with it, trying to get things working. So I was playing some Final Fantasy 6, Super Mario 64 DS. I was playing what was oh god, some of the Pokemon like Sun and Moon, just messing around on my 3DS. I did start Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 4 After Years, and Final Fantasy 3 on the Steam Deck just to like test it out, play it. I do have to say 4 and 4 After Years, there's this weird glitch that will run the battle modes in 15 frames a second, but everything else in the game runs at 30.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
and
that's actually how the game was on the DS and on mobile.
yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, that's there's a fix for it apparently. You
Yeah.
can there's a mod you can download and just easily drop and install it. I did it on the Steam Deck and verified I was able to get 25 frames a second during battle mode. So I'm like, oh, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been just kind of messing around on my 3DS, even the little like game player that I bought, that R36S, just messing around with some emulation.
Nice.
So.
Nice. As for me, Fire Emblem Engage. Been playing some Fire Emblem Engage. Jesse, who was on the podcast last week, he was playing that, and I was actually gonna start playing Fates again, but then I realized when I modded my 3DS, I had to delete everything from my SD card and stuff like that, and my save file for Fire Emblem Fates, what is it, Conquest, was digital, and I didn't realize that. I didn't even think about it. I'm here like, oh, I have the cartridge of Birthright, so I assume everything was on there. Nope, that was digital. So what would happen is I have the save file for Birthright, but then I don't have the save file for Conquest, so I had to start that from scratch, which I was kind of upset. And then I realized there is no way to add Conquest or Rebirth, or not Rebirth, or is it Revelations? No, Revelations, yeah. Conquest and Revelations to Birthright. So when Fire Emblem Fates came out, they did the Pokemon thing. There was two different copies you can get. You can get Birthright and Conquest. And if you got Birthright, in the game itself, there was like a shop menu, and you can get Conquest for just half price for $20, and then you can get Revelations for $20 as well, which was a third path you can get. But because the eShop is no longer available, you can't get Revelations no more. I think I can still download Conquest, but because my 3DS is modded, I don't want to try and log in with my Nintendo account, and then I get banned from my Switch. So I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about that. So I re-downloaded the triple pack, and I'm like, yeah, like I don't really feel like doing this all the way. So let me just finish Engage. So I started continuing Engage. Love Engage. Like Fire Emblem Engage, the music is so good. It is just some amazing music. I mean, Fire Emblem music in general is always good, but like Engage, it's just very peak. They have when you fight the emblems, which are just like past heroes from the previous games, they do remixes to the songs from their games, and it's
That's
just
cool.
oh, they're like so peak. They have, and they each have two versions. There's the map version, which is more calm, and then you have the battle version, which is like they'll add like guitars and like harder drums and
Yeah,
all
like
these other
Rebirth does
things.
that.
Yeah, kind of like what Rebirth does, correct?
Mm.
Where in the battle music is like more amped up. So you do things like that, except that the calmer music is a lot more calmer than like Rebirth type. But man, I'm telling you, it's good. Like the Marth remix song, it's so good. It's like the
I
first map, the Together We Ride song, if you guys remember from What's That OST, and then there's another song that's in it. But they mix all three of them. But it's just you gotta listen to the soundtrack. Highly recommend that. But yeah, playing Engage, Final Fantasy 1 on 3DS, the 3D remake for 3DS. Been playing some of that, and then I did some Tetris 99. I got the Endless Ocean
mm,
skin, and
yep,
let's
me
see what
too.
else.
Rebirth. Been
Yeah,
streaming Rebirth.
streaming Rebirth, of course. Yeah, I've been doing that, and I think that's about it. Like I didn't really play that many games this week. Well, that's because I've been playing Fire Emblem. One game I've been wanting to go back to is Live Alive, and it's just because
Mm.
some of the music is very catchy, and like what was that? The Neo Tokyo. Have you played it, Bryant? Live Alive?
No,
No.
I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay. How about you, fan?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay. There's a one of the sections is like Neo Tokyo, which I think is like a future version of Tokyo, and the song that it plays on that map is so catchy, and it just has a like 90s anime like vibe to it. Like just
I'm gonna go
listening
play it
to
now.
it's good. Like it just has this 90s anime vibe to it. I'm listening, I was like, man, like you just want to hum it. Definitely very SNES, which is a game that it came out on SNES. But like the Geek Show, who does archives, he plays like Live Alive, and I just remember every time I watch him play like archives, I hear like Live Alive. I'm like, man, like that music is so great. I highly recommend it. The game is very, very good. I'm not done with it, but I've done like 3 of the 6 paths I think that you can do, and then there's the one final path where they all come together, in a better way than Octopath Traveler. But that's something I've been wanting to go back to and finish.
No,
Um,
you talking about it now makes me want to try it.
you should definitely try it. Maybe start with the Neo Tokyo one. Like I like the Tokyo one. I like the Kung Fu Master guy was really good, and I do like the. There's another one. Oh, I'm doing the caveman guy, and that one's funny, cause like they don't the way they speak is just through like emojis, so like they're not saying words, but the speech bubbles are just emojis, and they're like trying to enact like what they're talking about, which is pretty funny. Uh, which I
Battle
thought was
system, like,
what's the battle system like?
yeah.
It's turn based. I'm trying to think of a game that's like this. You ever play Valkyrie Profile?
Yeah.
I guess to be more specific, Valkyrie Profile 2, Samaria.
No, I just played the first one.
Yeah, first one wouldn't be a good thing. I'm trying to think. Well, basically,
First one's a lot like that what's it called? I don't remember what it's called with that girl, Indivisible or something like that. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, it's exactly like Indivisible, like the fighting mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know
Yeah,
that.
it's less like that. So basically, it's turn based. You have you'll get like party members and stuff, and there's a grid on there. So it's not tactical, but there's a grid. So you do have to move your character around, but then your moves do a certain amount of damage in two different directions. So you got to kind of be very strategic about it, because like if you place your character too close, and you know the enemy has an attack that can hit you, from close range, then you don't want to do that. You don't want to get too close. So like it's very strategic. It's hard to say, but it's more turn based attacking with positional elements, right? Like you might have an attack that does more if you hit them from the top, versus that does something like less if you hit them from the bottom, so forth. So it's hard to explain, but if you play, I think you'll get used to it and you'll like it. But yeah, the story's great. Highly recommend Live Alive. Definitely a great game. But yeah, I think that's everything for today's podcast. Wasn't too crazy for news today, or this week rather. Not a lot of stuff. So we'll see what happens next week. Geek Show pointed out in the chat that yes, episode 100 is approaching, and I do not have a plan for that. I'm thinking of something special, and actually today was actually when I thought about it. It's like, what could we do? And I'm more thinking about, we've talked about it quite a few times, to have a Final Fantasy centric podcast.
Yes.
But I'm debating between that or maybe just a more RPG centric podcast, like not just Final Fantasy, where we maybe bring like our favorite RPGs together. Like I don't know. I'm trying to brainstorm to have a fun conversation of like our favorite stuff.
I think if Dragon Quest gets its own episode, I think Final Fantasy has to have its own episode. I think what you're
Yeah.
talking about, like that other idea, sounds like a good idea. We
Yeah.
could do that sometime. But
Remember, I
think
don't like Final Fantasy no more. I'm just kidding.
even more reason to talk about it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm debating like for episode 1, like I wanted it to be special. So, or episode 1, episode 100, I wanted it to be special.
Rebooting
So,
the podcast.
so definitely I would think about like doing Final Fantasy, or if I should say Final Fantasy for something else that where we can have a different guest, right? Because I don't know where we're gonna be at in terms of special guests. So that's where I'm kind of torn, right? Like, do I save the Final Fantasy centric episode for when we can get like another Final Fantasy creator to kind of join us, or do we do like an RPG general episode where we can just have past guests that's already been on there with us and we could kind of discuss and have a crazy podcast with like 1,000 people on it or something? Not 1,000, but yeah.
1,000 people talking about Final Fantasy talks sounds like a new form of hell.
See how everybody explained what their favorite Final Fantasy is and why it's
God.
Final Fantasy 12. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's all what we have for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget, as always, to like and subscribe. Share the channel, helps out a lot. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, very close. Only need 92 subscribers more to hit there, so very close. Also follow on Twitch. Do simultaneously stream on Twitch. I apologize for the beginning of the stream where there's some little bit of like issues going on. I guess I know the limits to my GPU, and I know that I need to upgrade to a better GPU because it's definitely being held back in terms of
Episode
space.
100, James upgrades his GPU.
I mean, hey, I do have a donate to Save the James Foundation where you can easily
There you
donate and save a James like me. Brian, where can I catch you at?
red_so_deep on Twitter, and gonna try to start maybe streaming on Twitch. I'm the same thing there as well.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Fan?
Yeah, you guys can catch me at Phaneckswhy at Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and here on Saturdays for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and Ash will be returning fairly soon. So we will have Ash returning again, which is very nice. So you will be seeing more of Ash later on. But as always, catch me here at the Random Encounter on YouTube or the Random Encounter podcast on Twitch because somebody took my name and they won't give it to me. Thanks for watching.
Are you gonna be on tomorrow?
James. What's up?
Are you gonna be on Twitch tomorrow? Are you gonna do Final Fantasy 7 tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm debating about it. Like I don't want to burn myself out. At the same time, it's like We'll
so
see.
close.
We'll see after that. I know I'm so close to the end, and it's like maybe I just push through and finish it so I can do a different game on Friday. But we'll see. I don't know. But thanks for watching. My name is James. Thank you, Bryant. Thank you, Fan. And we will see you guys next time.